أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه وجميع من والاه. We thank God, we adore Him, we glorify His name, we supplicate Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His unlimited mercy for you, to send His unlimited mercy upon His noblest Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his household, his companions, and those who are on his path till the day of accountability. Brethren, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So the floor is open for us to have an interactive session tonight. You might have a question bothering your mind, and then this is an opportunity for us to bring it forward. So we tackle it as much as we can. And but before then, let me quickly say something concerning the contemporary issue. The contemporary issue now is Sha'ban. We are in the month of Sha'ban, and Sha'ban is the month next to Ramadan. There is a month immediately that comes immediately before Ramadan. Sha'ban is the 8th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. What is the Islamic heritage of Sha'ban? If we are to rate any month in which fast is highly rewardable, out of the 12 lunar Islamic calendar, Sha'ban will come first after Ramadan. Why? Because it is in the Sunnah of Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in the Hadith of Aisha, where he says, I've never seen the Prophet of Allah fast in any month as much as he does, or as much as he used to do in the month of Sha'ban, except Ramadan. She said, the Prophet will fast as if he will think he will not break fast. And in that same month, he would break fast, he would cease from fasting as if we would not fast. So which means, if we are to emphasize the number of days in which the Prophet used to fast in the month of Sha'ban, we will say he used to fast for about 15 days and break for about 15 days or more than that. But there's no evidence for fasting the whole month of Sha'ban as done, or that as it is usually done by some people. So there are some people here in our environment, they will start fasting they'll start fasting from the month of Rajab. You fast 30 days or 29 days of Rajab, 30 or 29 days of Shaban, then complete it with 30 or 29 days of Ramadan. What is the stand of Islam on this? The stand of Islam on that is that it is forbidden to fast all these months together and complete it with Ramadan. So, which means Islam does not want us to do wisal. Wisal is bringing these days together and fast in them. No, you fast for some days and and you break for some days. Shaban is the month in which the Prophet used to fast more than every other day after Ramadan. So, and no record of him fasting for 20 days in it. So, if you are planning to do so, if you have been fasting Rajab, don't complete it. If you have been fasting from the inception of Shaban, do not complete it. Fast and break. So Ramadan is the only month in which we must fast all his days. So now, what does Islam say about the bounties in the month of Shaban? So he said the predecessors, the Salaf, used to call these months Shaharul Qurra, month of the reciters, in which our predecessors have read Quran a lot, more than they read it in every other month except Ramadan. What were they doing with it? They were warming up for the match they are about to play in the month of Ramadan. No player goes to field without fitness. No player gets fit without training. So they use Rajab to do training and continue the training plus warming up in the month of Shaban, while the real match is played in the month of Ramadan. So these are the acts of our predecessors. So Shahrul Qurra, the month of the reciters. Then another hadith of Aisha says that Sha'ban is a month where most people forget the reward they ought to benefit. They forget it. They shy away from it because their minds will be preoccupied by their preparation for Ramadan, what to eat, how to benefit people, how to raise people, how to feed people. Those are the things that will preoccupy their mind. How to travel for Umrah, how to do Qiyam al-Layl, how to select their timetable, how to go on leave, how to take. So these are the things that preoccupy their minds. It will now make them forget that Sha'ban is the month in which they should start practicing all they plan to do in the month of Ramadan. So it is unfortunate that many people forget the ibadah that they are requested of in the month of Sha'ban, so which is highly rewarded by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you are a man that does not take Sha'ban serious, as from today that you have listened to the word of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, please take it more than serious. Take it more than serious because good deeds are rewarded in it, are highly rewarded in it. Then another hadith says Ramadan and Shaban is the month in which all what a servant does in a year will be compiled and submitted to Allah. As they compile it on Mondays, compile it on Thursdays. So annual compilation, final compilation is done in the month of Sha'ban before Ramadan opens another file. So with Ramadan, new files of good days are opened. But files of good deeds are closed in the month of Sha'ban and submission takes place. So please let us be encouraged to do more good, in the month of Sha'ban before Ramadan takes over 100% of our activities. Another thing we need to know is that let us endeavor to do more good in this month by raising people, feeding them. I read a text that went viral on the WhatsApp groups, that people are saying those who do sponsor program on radio and television, sponsor people for Umrah, should stop it and focus on feeding people. Yes, they are right, but they are not 100% right. Don't say because people need a favor and cancel an act of ibadah. No. Sensitizing people is an act of ibadah. Even knowledge comes before worship in Islam. Knowledge comes before worship. And one of the most important medium through which people are educated is media. By listening to lectures, quality lectures through media, some people get their part right. They get it right by listening to quality lectures through telephone, through radio, television, or other social means of media communication. So all we are going to say to the sponsors is that they should be careful in sponsoring programs that will not add any benefit to Muslim Ummah. They should try and sponsor quality program of quality with quality knowledge and scholars of repute that will not cause confusion, that will not cause fitna, that will not dismantle the unity of Muslim brotherhood, and that will not call people onto dalal. So with this, they should focus on sponsoring people who can speak and their listeners will be spiritually uplifted. Because Ramadan is not just about food. How many food can we consume in Ramadan? Where we'll be fasting for like 12 hours or more than that. So how many food do we need? We need food for thought as well, food for soul and food for body. No body without good soul, because Allah will not countenance with the body, but the soul. Only that the fuel of body is food. That is why food is so important, because without food, there won't be agility to do some certain ibadah. So continue distributing food, and inshallah, as you know me and my foundation, Al Maqam Islamic Foundation, that's what we do every year, every first Sunday of Ramadan. We are planning this year's edition already. Inshallah, we'll continue distributing food. And another thing we do is hosting programs on radio and television. Inshallah, we pray Allah provide for us. We will still do that. That is to balance the equation. But to say they should stop one for one, I think that's not proper. And the issue of Hajj or issue of Umrah in Ramadan. For you to say people should stop going on Umrah for Ramadan can lead one to Allah's wrath. Why? Because it is an injunction of Allah to do Umrah in the month of Ramadan. It is the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam to perform Umrah in the month of Ramadan. And the reward for performing Umrah in the month of Ramadan is more than doing it in any month. What did the Prophet say about performing Umrah in the month of Ramadan? He said, whoever performs Umrah in the month of Ramadan will have the reward of performing Hajj together with me. Reward of Hajj performed together with me. So this is a huge reward that people are calling others to miss. I think we have to balance our equation and be moderate in our calling, that people should give priority to what? To lifting other people. People should solve problem, the needed problem to be solved in raising other people. Ask people what they want. If you want to help them, you can do that. And you can also let them know the importance of going to the house of Allah. If there is sincerity from both sides, if the intention of the sponsor is not for eye service, and the sponsored knows what it means to perform Hajj or Umrah, I swear, and I'm very confident that Allah will change the life of both the sponsor and the sponsored. But it is because our people do it for eye service, for them to be praised, and the sponsored do not know what it entails to visit that holy site. Instead of him focusing on how to better his life spiritually and to change to have a turnaround, a positive turnaround of his life, he will focus on another eye service from his own side, Dalika eye service. The first thing they will do when getting to Medina, even before Hajj, is to fix golden teeth or silver teeth. Let me say gold teeth or silver teeth. And we'll start posting pictures. When he gets to Arafat, what he would be concerned about is to announce that at Isokal Arafat, then chanting waka, dancing. He or she doesn't know the importance of that site, of those holy sites. Doesn't lift him or herself spiritually. He doesn't ask for the bounty of life or of dunya and the hereafter. And that's why you see them wallowing in poverty when they return home, because they don't know what to say to Allah and they don't focus on it. They only went on Hajj for carry me, for eye service, for people to respect them, Alaji, Alaja. So if there is sincerity from the other side, from both sides, wallahi, we will achieve both the spiritual and social benefit of performing Hajj. So I'm calling on every Muslim, especially the honorable ones in this class, to please look back and raise people. People are hungry. There is hunger in the land, and there is high cost of food items. Today, as we were preparing for our forthcoming annual Ramadan lecture and feeding program that you've known us with, a bag of 5 kg semo is 5,400. What we used to buy at 2,500. We bought it last year 2,400. Yeah, but this year is 5,400 as I speak today. Tomorrow it might be 6,000. So if care is not taken, those who are planning to help people with their budgets, that budget would maybe render useless when Ramadan approaches. So we are planning to pay them now, bring those goods to our stores, because if you pay them now and you refuse to take those goods, when you get there when you need it, they will tell you, Alhaji Efi Nkakun, as if they have not used your money for business. So this is kind of people we have in Nigeria. We are killers of one another. We are wreaking havoc so that others will not rise. Not that every problem is politically made. No, they are not all 100% politically made, but we ourselves, the followers, the way we kill one another spiritually, financially, morally, is also on the eye side. So I know you have family members you do for, you have friends you are supporting, you have neighbors back home you are supporting. Please, whatever you want to do it for them now. And your budget, for your budget to be valuable, whatever you want to buy it now and tell your people to keep them for you in your private warehouse. Paying the sellers and leaving it there can be so dangerous that when you need it, they might change their language. As if they have not used your money for their business. So these are the things we need to look forward into. We need to look forward for spiritual upliftment and raising people who are in abject poverty in our own way. So may Allah grant us the grace to witness the month of Ramadan. May He also grant us the grace to cut away or to benefit spiritually and morally from the month of Sha'ban. The predecessors used to say prayers in the month of Sha'ban. They say, Allahumma balighna Ramadan. When it is 6 months to Ramadan, they will begin to include that in their prayers. Allahumma balighna Ramadan. Oh Allah, spare our lives till Ramadan. So it should be in our own daily routine as well, or daily devotions, that we ask for Allah to spare, we ask Allah to spare our life till Ramadan. And when it approaches, we include health, prayer for sound health. So that, and then both, let me say, physical and spiritual health, so that we will be encouraged from our inner part to stand up and carry out some ibadah that will earn us bountiful rewards. Thank you for listening. I will draw the curtain of discussion here until you respond and react to my little speech, so that I'll be able to explain further. Alhaji S. Dairo is raising up his hands.
Yes, please go ahead with your question.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Well, my question is regarding about the lecture you did last week about faith marriage. Unfortunately, that time the lecture was on. At the same time, I was listening to the lecture at the same time doing something that I don't know. I can't afford to miss the lecture because I'm off last week. At the same time, I'm off. Most of the time when you are doing this lecture, I might be on duty that time. So last week, I can't avoid to miss the lecture. But at the same time, what I was doing that time, very crucial. So I was doing two things together. So that was why I couldn't be able to ask questions regarding about the topic to treat last week. So my question is about the faith marriage. Assuming someone that left Africa and he was at early 30, although he might be on a relationship but not serious, not married. So he left Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, whatever, to Europe or United Kingdom. He came with a visiting visa and he refused to go back. So let me look for a better life here. So he has been residing in Europe or UK for past 4 or 5 years, struggling to have paper, Although he have intention, okay, if it is going to happen that the person I was seeing in Africa, well, no marriage, let me forgo. So, to move on. So, if I see someone here, I marry her, then go on with my life. But unfortunately, most people that I want to read now, most of them thinking that because you want paper, that is why, So they have no option than this contract something that, well, let me and then as if we're married, this contract married, although nothing, you know, even, I don't know, it has nothing to do with the person about the sex or something like that. It's just to do the marriage because age is not at the side. So because maybe someone by the time it gets to Europe or UK here is already 33, 34. So when you had 4 or 5 years with 33, 34, so it's going to late 30 and the time is going. So I think from what I have from you that it's around if someone goes for contract marriage or something like that. So that point is not clear to me. That is why that's what my question.
Yes,
Again.
it's a very simple explanation that if one engages in contract marriage, you know yourself that there will be an expiry date for. It's haram in Islam. When you are going into a marriage, you go in with the intention of everlasting relationship. It will the decision to cut it off will be dictated by Allah through nature, through relationship, whether it's toxic or it's blissful. So if it is blissful, there won't be any reason for cutting it off, for terminating it. And if it's not blissful, there are processes to make it blissful. And if those processes are not working, there are processes for divorce as well that we need to take. But having it at the back of one's mind that I want to do this marriage to deceive a partner to some extent, then when I get fulfilled.
Since you don't get me right, sir, both of them, the lady know, understand, the lady knows this thing is going on here, going in UK and in Europe. Both of the lady will know, just to know that the money, only the lady wants the money. Let me pay you. They know. That's why I even mentioned no sex, nothing. Just
Okay. That's not marriage. That's
officially.
You are just presenting it to the government as if it's a marriage, but both of
Yes.
them not marriage.
It's more or less because they are intentional. That they don't both of them they don't have intention to be as a couple. It's like a contract.
Okay, I know.
More or less like a faith. That's why I don't know how you faith it well because that last week
I
I was
understand
doing was very, very important. And I can't because when I am enjoying your lecture, so I can't. So as mo kàn fi dájú gbọ́ àwọn nǹkan tẹ́ ń sọ at the same time àti lọ́ọ̀ṣì àwọn kankan so kò ní ìwà fúlé kíní.
Now I got your message. That one is not marriage because both partners know that they are not marrying each other. They just want to.
Yes.
so that one would get paper. Okay. That one, the case will be treated differently as deceit. You deceive the government to get what you want. So it will be treated as halal, making a living or livelihood from haram source. Like someone who deceived his customer just to take away his money and live with it. So you deceive the government so that you can enjoy something. Your case is quite different. You are not offending your partner you paid to help you do the papers and use his name for a marriage. You are not offending him, but you are both partners in crime in telling lies to get what you want. Just like a contractor that bills for a contract and he submits a quotation of 2 billion naira, 20 billion naira, knowing fully well that the contract will not be more than 10 billion naira, even after, even together with his gain after every expenses. You know, skyrocket the price. Then he was given this 20 billion naira. Instead of him using that 10 billion naira to work on it, he now use 5 billion naira. All this thing is deceit. So Allah will treat it as a different case of Kenyan Tonyin, not a case of Kenyan Sheyaworo. Tell about Sheyawo only deceit, you know. One, that whatever that transpire between both parties, something copulate will be regarded as zina. Two, they will be treated as what is it called? Deceivers. Three, they will raise generation of children that were born out of wedlock. Therefore, those children will be denied inheritance from their father's property. Six, that father will not be regarded as their father in Sharia. They don't have father. All what they need belongs to their mother. So there are many things engulfed in marriage of deceit or marriage of zina, which makes it more difficult and more dangerous than applying for paper through a fake marriage to the government, but knowing fully well from the book by both partners that they are not marrying each other.
Like if someone find himself in that situation, so what is after? No, it's going to take 40 years now, 40 years old, and was unable to find someone to know. So even most people, so what is he going to do? Say to go back home or what? Or what is it?
Okay, if he has not given that paper.
Because circumstance, as I said, not someone that just came in within a year. But as I said, after 4 or 5 years, he came to Europe, maybe in his early 30s. So after 4 or 5 years, ó ti kú síbi di sọ́hùn, ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ìkankan, and most people story at that time thinking that ó kàn fẹ́ fàwọn gbàwé ni just because of the document. That is why these guys want to marry ahead. He has intention that anybody, if I see someone marry the person truly, but unfortunately, unable, most girls that to come across, they were all thinking that because of paper, because of the document,
Okay.
he has no option than, okay, if that is the case, even if I see anyone to make the contract, something, as I said, then let me go for it. After all, she knows just to pay her, let me pay her, then to move on. Otherwise, what is it? So, Islamically, is it permissible or no? And if someone finds himself in that, if it is not permissible, that person, what advice as you say, kill advice in your listen.
Okay. One, it's not permissible to do it because it is haram, and in no condition should we support haram if one is not tempted, not facing a life-threatening condition. So if it's a life-threatening condition, you can go for haram. Haram becomes halal then, if it's a life-threatening condition. So, but if it is not, halal remains halal and haram remains haram. Then for him not to get after spending numbers of years means Allah does not want it for him. Though he had good intention initially to marry and get paper, to marry sincerely and get paper. But unfortunately, Allah did not answer his prayer. So you can't force Allah to answer it if he's not ready to answer it. You keep trying. Then if you are tired of it, there's nothing bad in taking another step. So, but that step should also be halal. So if that person goes back goes back home, it might be in his destiny that his fortune is not in the Europe, and it will not be given until he gets back to where it is predestined for him to get it. So as a Muslim, we should be positively hopeful that when things are not going well for us in a particular place, we should move and let me say migrate to another place with the intention of having greener pasture. Up till I speak, there are numbers of people in Nigeria that if you tell them to relocate, they will curse you, they will abuse and curse you, whereby again, because of the kind of fortune and affluence they are living in here. And there are some that all their prayers is to do what to get out of this country. They do not even see other things Allah has done in their life. They are rich, yet their mind is no more here. So what we are saying is that Quran says Allah blames some section of people who died as a result of hardship. He blamed them in Quran by saying, don't you see that the land is vast, the earth is wide? Can't you migrate from where hardship has been afflicted on you to another place to seek for Allah's affluence? So if you die on it, you will be judged as someone who committed suicide, because there are many opportunities somewhere. If one place is so hard for you, try other places. So as Muslims, we admonish such a person with this verse of Quran that Allah says, do not live and die in hardship when you have opportunity to go elsewhere for better life. Thank you, sir.
So I got your first, I got it right now. That means the same thing applies to someone who came to Europe or United Kingdom and he has the opportunity to seek for asylum, although he lied, nothing happened. It's life-threatening in Nigeria, Ghana, whatever, and luckily, so it has the people who advising. There's no any other way than to seek for asylum, say something. So that one also is haram in Islam.
If one is facing a life-threatening condition.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm not saying truth life-threatening. But Europe now, when you get when we are in Africa, the way we are thinking that when I get there, as if when you as soon as you just get there, then things will just be going on smoothly. Until when you lay your foot on the soil there, then from there you start to understand that not the way you're don't you ṣe lérò èèyàn ṣe máa dábàá then you will say èèyàn ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ èèyàn ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bẹ̀rẹ̀ nìyẹn. So someone like that, irú nǹkan tẹ́ sọ yìí, èmi ò kì í ṣe máa kó fún sọ bí kì í ṣe pé bóyá mo ń bó sọ bọ̀ nù but nǹkan báyìí tó bá happen so kéèyàn mọ̀ knowledge àwọn èèyàn tó dẹ̀ rí you better go and seek for asylum or something like that. So which is àlè wọn á gbẹ̀tọ̀ tó bá ti sọ fún ọ pé irọ́ pé something like that ní ayé náà Áfíríkà wọn fẹ́ pààyàn ni wọn fẹ́ ṣe wọn fẹ́ pọ̀ táyàn wọn fẹ́ ṣe kìíní kan ní àbí kìíní kan ní ọ̀kan tẹ́lẹ̀. So ìbò dẹ̀ fẹ́ gbọ́ nǹkan mẹ́rin lóòótọ́ wọn á gbẹ̀ tọwọ́ tẹsẹ̀ from there wọ́n lè níwèé. So irọ́ ni the beginning of something. So was life, not no life threatening, but just going on live with that way. You understand? So something like that, is it haram or halal? Because the question says so me more comment. So
The answer is very simple. Ẹ̀yin náà ti sọ pé ó parọ́ ni. So Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ ṣépè láwọn onírọ́.
Oh.
So bó láti àwọn sọ pé irọ́ dáa, irọ́ ò dáa. Tó bá pa tó mú jẹ tó rí ní tó fẹ́, ó lè tọrọ àforíjì.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ ó pa àṣẹ rí
Tó bá wu Ọlọ́run yóò
ní
forí jìn.
Nàìjíríà kéèyàn tó kúrò ẹ̀sùn orúkọ mi nǹkan fẹ́ tí wọ́n fẹ́ gbé padà ní irú ẹni tí mò ń sọ pé fake marriage yẹn ó wá sọ fáwọn parent ẹ̀ lọ́kí ló ṣì ní bàbá ó ṣì ní bàbá látàrí bẹ́ẹ̀ tí wọ́n kó wá sọ fún òun fẹ́ padà definitely àwọn parent ẹ̀ ò ní ní pé kó padà because wọ́n ti ta a lot of things bó tẹ̀ tó ti kó lè move wá sí Europe yẹn ẹ jẹ́ ká gbé yẹn sẹ́gbẹ̀ẹ́ so irú nǹkan báyẹn kéèyàn wá ṣe wọlé bẹ́yẹn as a Muslim tó irú nǹkan bẹ́yẹn ṣé kéèyàn padà lẹ́sẹ̀kẹsẹ̀ làbí kò sì máa continue bẹ́ẹ̀. Situation like for example situation of things tó wà ní Nàìjíríà yẹn already manage láti fún yẹn ó wá dé bíbá nǹkan tó bá bó ṣe expect kọ́ ló ṣe bá what are you going to do.
Kàkà kó parọ́ kó dúró tọ́lọ́run.
Nǹkan ní ọkọ̀ fún láti ẹ̀rí ẹnìkan tó máa gbé ráìsì tàbí gààrí sí oríta láti fi ṣe ìpèsè fún àwọn tó láyé.
Ẹni tó sọ̀rọ̀ ẹgbẹ́ sọ̀rọ̀ sókè mi gbọ́.
No, wọ́n ṣe mistake.
No, I think it was an error, sir. Carrying.
Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. I've got your yeah.
Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé àmọ́ ìta ṣe tí ẹ̀mí ò fi bọ́ lọ́rùn wa?
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni.
Ó dáa pé nígbà tá à ń parọ́ lọ́wọ́ lọ́lọ́run gbẹ̀mí wa ń kọ́ bó wọ́n ṣe gbé wa dìde.
Àbí bí gbogbo nǹkan ṣe rí Nàìjíríà ń sìn téèyàn kan wọ́n ti ta lé tó ti ta gbogbo ẹ̀ tó rápálá tó wọ UK àbí Europe. Kò dẹrùn náà ní London sí ní United Kingdom àti Europe náà kó wá débẹ̀ ilé wọn ti ta gbogbo ẹ̀ wọ́n ti ṣe gbogbo ẹ̀ kó wá dé bíbà kí ni kó ṣe.
Ṣé ẹ mọ̀ pé tọ́lọ́run bá fẹ́ fi ìyà jẹ̀yàn náà kò ní jẹ́ kéèyàn rí oore tọ́lọ́run ṣe fún èèyàn ní rí lóore. Yóò wá gba tọwọ́ yẹn yóò wá fi ìyà jẹ̀yàn dáadáa.
Náà ẹjọ́ ẹ̀ náà yẹ kó mọ̀ ń push stubborn náà bẹ̀tẹ̀ ẹ mọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe ní ìpínlẹ̀ election bó ṣe ń lọ mọ́ ẹ̀jọ́ mi pàfẹ́. Àfikọ́ lọ́wọ́ bá kó ṣàánú pé gbogbo ọ̀nà tẹ́lómìn ti rí wọ́n ti gbà tán ti fi ṣe kínní ọ̀rẹ́ ìdí tó ti ṣe jù ní pé téèyàn ò bá mọ̀ téèyàn àpá náà ṣe sọ is good but once téèyàn bá ti mọ̀ tó ti gbọ́ kò ní option so that is it. Ẹ̀sẹ̀ nǹkan téèyàn ò mọ̀.
A máa ń fojú kékeré wo irọ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe rí yẹn Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ place course lórí ẹni tó bá ń parọ́. A máa ń gbàgbé ayà yẹn pé wa la'natullahi 'alal kadhibin. Pé woe, wrath of Allah unto those who lie. Kódà kí ẹ parọ́ fún ìyàwó yẹn lè torí ẹ̀rí ìbínú Ọlọ́run. Kí ẹ parọ́ fọmọ yẹn lè torí ẹ̀rí ìbínú Ọlọ́run. But a mú un lọ́wọ́ kékeré gan. A fọ́ kékeré mú irọ́ gan. Irọ́ la fi ń survive. Irọ́ lọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ fi ń survive. So ó dáa gẹ́gẹ́ tí ń jẹ́
Nàìjíríà ò tún lè sí kò sóòótọ́ ń lu yẹn mọ́.
n tó mú yẹn jẹ́ mú mi nínà ni pé kó rírọ́ báyìí kó dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé tó bá pa wàá rówó àbí wàá rí ọlà kan bẹ̀ kó dẹ̀ gbójú kó ń bẹ̀.
Bẹ́ẹ̀ni sir, thank you very much sir, mo fẹ́ kí n ra mo ti bẹ́ẹ̀ kí mo ti ń bẹ̀. Mo fẹ́ nǹkan tí mo fẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alhaji Orekoya, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. I have one question and one request. The first one has to do with talaq, divorce. Is it encouraged or discouraged to have it during the month of Ramadan, as war is discouraged in the month of Ramadan? That is my first question. And the second one, which is a request, is for our sheikh to look into one of these his weekly program to address the pressure of Nigerians coming abroad, that there's nothing wrong with anybody seeking greener pasture or coming down to earn a living, as we also migrated here. but it is high time that we talk about the medical side of it, because there are negative developments in recent times in the UK and other parts of Europe, whereby people migrated here, and after some time they develop one medical issue or the other, and making life difficult for them and even their host in some instances. And again, the fact that the so-called opportunities is becoming leaner every day. The opportunities are not really there as people are perceived to think. And as such, I will make that request directly to doctor that probably before Ramadan, if he can speak to that this is a feedback from people abroad saying that if you want to come, but please look after yourself very well, because your understanding is quite different from what is in reality. Those are my 2 comments. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome, sir. Inshallah, I'll work on that and stage a lecture on it. I think those who are on this platform don't need that lecture, but the general public who are followers on other platforms of other social media platforms should learn from it. I pray that you, all of you that are already there as permanent residents or even citizens, I pray for Allah's mercy upon you. I ask Allah to protect you and your household, and to grant you your heart desires that will make you better Muslims and a fulfilled ummah.
Amen.
Now, coming down to the first question asked by you, sir, concerning divorce in the month of Ramadan. There is only one time divorce is not encouraged, and divorce becomes haram. And that is when the woman is on a menstrual cycle. If divorce takes place during that time, it becomes haram. So the husband will have to wait till the woman is purified before he could pronounce a divorce. But while menstruating, it becomes haram. Then every other month or time is allowed, and is good for proclaiming divorce, even though it is one of the most detestable halal in the sight of Allah. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for answering that.
Yeah, welcome, sir.
Do we have any further questions regarding Ramadan or anything else that you might have that can help yourself or even anyone that may benefit from that?
In absence of any other person, please, I have one other question.
Yeah, please go ahead, sir.
Okay, I just want to ask our lecturer, what is an average Naira amount to feed an average person in Nigeria per meal, if you know? Per meal, yes, as we speak, an average amount. Say for breakfast or for lunch or for dinner.
Okay, either for a day or per meal.
Per meal, not per day, per meal.
Average, not minimum, Abi?
Average, not minimum.
1,000, let me 2,000 naira. Did you hear me, sir?
Naira. Yes, 2,000 naira per meal. That is about 6,000 naira per day.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Do we have any other question?
Let's ask questions, please. Hello?
Yeah, we're here, so I'm just giving people time to think if they maybe some people are thinking of a question.
Okay.
Salam alaikum.
Alhamdulillah.
Sorry, please. My question is pertaining of Hajj. Sir, what is your intake about sending people to Hajj? Because I believe Allah said people should go to Hajj if they are capable, not until waiting for government to sponsor, waiting for my family, that I believe one of my rich family, to sponsor me, to the point that some people now, they've already even turned maybe their family members to enemy, purposely because they believe I asked you to sponsor me to Hajj, which you could not, but I believe you have the money. Why don't you sponsor me to Hajj? Because of that, some people, they've even turned even some of their family friends to enemy, to the point that even because it happens to me too, because a friend of mine was the one that called, was it last year? He was asking me for some money that he's doing some contribution that you need to pay that money, like 1.5 million, that if I could borrow him, that I need to add it to a mom's Hajj that until then. So I was not like, me, I don't have, but it was like, but you're in abroad. I said, it doesn't matter. I was to the point that I have to tell him that even in Quran, you don't need to sponsor, force yourself, send people to Hajj. Allah say you should go to Hajj if you are capable. Not, to the point that even some people back home, some of them, they are doing business. Even if you get to their shops, you realize what they are even saying is not even up to 100,000 naira. But they will say they are saving money just to go to Hajj. So, sir, what do you have to say about that, please?
Yes. There are different things to it, but people join them together. Someone who is selling, who has a shop, and they are contributing money for Hajj from his business, even though that would affect his stock. If that will affect his stock, but will not render him as a beggar, he can still go on Hajj because the money is originally from his sweat. He didn't beg for it, even though it reduces the number of his stock. He believes that if he goes there and prays and comes back, Allah might replenish him or not. Even if Allah does not replenish him, he will still not beg to feed his home. Such a person is qualified to go for Hajj because the money is originally his. One thing that is not good is to be begging people that Eba mi fowó Hajj mi, like the one you stated. But at times, one can find one in such a condition. How? The Hajj Commission has earlier announced that, okay, last year, Hajj was 2.5 million. So someone has now contributed or saved 3 million for Hajj, at least, 500 Nyogun. They now said, okay, the deposit is 4.5 million. He was able to do that. 4.5 million from his pocket. Now, that was all he budgeted for it. Now they are saying they should add some 300,000 or 4 to hit. And I said, if he seeks for help to augment that, that is not much. That is not much. If that will not turn him to a beggar when he comes back, just for a period of time, and there is a very close by deadline for it, a notice of a week. He could not get it within a week, but he knows that after it, he has things to lean on. If such a person beg to complete that amount, it's still under capability. But for you not to have anything and be crying around, no matter how much your love is for that site, you are not capable, and don't turn a friend to an enemy because of that. Someone you are shouting, you are clamoring to, or that is seeking art from, might not have that in his plan, might have some other things he need to do, or might not even have that money, because the rich also cry. Then because you are unfortunate to be given by him, you turn into an enemy. That's your own cup of tea. That person has no problem with you and with Allah. You are the one not staying, not cutting your clothes according to your, or cutting your coat according to your clothes. So in that aspect is bad. And begging for 400,000 naira after paying 4.5 million from your pocket is not bad. Then expecting governments to sponsor you on Hajj. If you are expecting government to do that, you are wasting your time. But if you are selected by government to do that, there's nothing haram there. It's their social responsibility, and you didn't call for it. You were the one that was called for it by the government. Yeah, I want dedicated staff. Wow, I want devout staff. Wow, Lord, you. That was the practice before they politicized it. Yeah, that was the practice before they politicized it. Now that it has been politicized, people use their strength and they use what they want, what they have to get what they want. So admonishing government not to do it doesn't stop them from being corrupt, and that money will not be used for what you also expect. They are sponsoring people on tourism. These people are taking our money for medical tourism or their holidays. So what is now bad in sponsoring some concession number of citizens on Hajj? But some people stood against it with the intention of the government using that money for the betterment of the citizen. Yet, government keeps siphoning our money. So that is another phase. But it is not bad in Sharia. No scholar, whether living or dead, or let me say alive or dead, can say it is not in Sharia to sponsor people for Hajj. No scholar, I repeat, whether alive or dead, can stand against this established fact. I repeat again, no scholar, whether alive or dead, can say it is not in Sharia to sponsor people for Hajj, whether they are capable of feeding themselves or not. It remains the practice of Saudi government to sponsor numbers of students who are performing well on Hajj. It remains their custom up till I speak. Students, foreign students who perform well, maybe in their university level, year one, maybe from number 1 to 10, it is in the practice of Saudi government to sponsor them on Hajj. Can those students feed themselves? Can they afford Hajj? But they are being compensated for their academic excellence. That's apart. Those that are not excellent academically are also sponsored by individuals in Arab country. And in line with Sharia's injunction that the Prophet says you can sponsor people on Hajj on behalf of your aged parents or dead ones. And both your parents and the sponsored will have reward of a full Hajj. Is that person capable? Does Sharia say we should send someone who is capable? Or we should sponsor someone who is capable or not? Capability is exempted from that, exonerated from that law. Just sponsor someone on behalf of your aged parent or dead ones. So when we are dishing out fatwa, we should be careful and we should be sincere about it. We should be sincere about it. Islam is a religion that gives window for every rule. For every rule, I said, even for Salat, there are windows. As rigid as Islamic law is on Salat, it gives windows. It relaxes principles and laws. So why would you now be saying, Hajj mo? Kai, ẹ ti gbàgbé pé Ọlọ́run Ànábì sọ pé a lè rán èèyàn lọ Hajj kó lọ bá wa ṣe on behalf of ìyá wa àbí bàbá wa tó ti kú àbẹ́yìí tó ti dàgbà. Ṣé capability wọn ká wo mẹ́ẹ̀? So it is a practice in Arab countries. They say Badal Hajj, Badal Hajj. Ask any scholar who is conversant with the Arab word. Badal Hajj means Hajj in favor of someone who is not capable. Okay, ṣáà sọ pé nígbà tí bàbá mi ò capable láti máa bọ́ra àwọn èmi ní ń bọ́ bàbá mi ní take responsibility wọn mi gbọ́dọ̀ rán wọn lọ Hajj owó tó yẹ kí n fi rán wọn lọ kí ní ká máa fi jẹun. Ẹ̀tọ́ mi ni kí n fún wọn lóúnjẹ tẹ́lẹ̀ náà. So kí a máa bẹ̀rù Ọlọ́run tá a bá ń dish out fatwa tá a bá ti ní followers ká má yẹ kí followers wa tàn wá àbí tá a bá ń bínú àwọn kan gbogbo àwọn tó kọ́ dìde lérí ọ̀rọ̀ Hajj yìí àwọn tí wọ́n ń bínú àwọn tíjọba ń rán ní Hajj ni tíjọba ò dọ́dọ̀ tí wọ́n ní. I can say that here in Kwara State ẹni tó kọ́ ṣe fatwa yẹn ó ti jèrè ìjọba dáadáa ìjọba ti rán lọ Hajj dáadáa nígbà tí gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì ò sí ń favour rẹ̀ mọ́ ló bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní ṣe fatwa yẹn. We should be fearful of Allah. Wọ́n dẹ̀ gba fatwa yẹn lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ ìjọba ò rán anybody mọ́sìn kí léèrè tóun náà rí ń bẹ̀. Ṣówó yẹn wọ́n fi tún títì ṣe ni àbí wọ́n fi tún kí ní ṣe. Ẹ wá ṣe wá sí débi àwọn tí wọ́n lówó tí ìyá wọn ò lọ nígbà tí wọn ò tí ì jẹ èèyàn pé wọ́n lè rán ìyá wọn tòkútòkú yẹn wọ́n lè rán nìkan tí ó ṣe Hajj fún ìyá wọn. Ó dà ẹ sọ pé ìyá rẹ tó wà láyé òun náà ó lè ṣe Hajj àmọ́ mọ́ da fi ilẹ̀ don't leave him or her alone. Ẹran yẹn kan tí ó lọ mọ tọ́jú wọn lọ́wọ́ ó tó ń lórí Hajj ṣe. You don't say that. You're not condemning it outrightly. That is bad. That is bad. So that we need to be educated and our educators need to be sincere and they need to be thorough in dishing out whatever they want to disseminate. Gbogbo laxity rẹ̀ gbogbo rules tó guide àti windows tó bá wà ń bẹ̀ kan fún wa. Come from one half-baked fatwa. Thank you for that question, sir. Alhaji Zubair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Another one, sir. Please, before.
Okay, carry on.
Alhaji Abdullahi, before you close the door of class, another one I need to add to it is that for example, I've been a beneficiary of federal government. I was invited by federal government to be a Hajj educator. And I was sponsored by federal government. Both my visa, my flight tickets, my accommodation, my feeding. Even I was paid an allowance by the federal government. I was sponsored to go and educate people on Hajj rights. And left to me, that money, I could not afford it then. If I was given that money, I wouldn't go for Hajj. I might use it for another thing. I even left Nigeria with an empty pocket. It was someone that was coming. I said, okay, buy me $1,000. I borrowed that $1,000, knowing fully well that I will be paid. So what did they say about that? Wallahi, if people are left alone at Hajj, Nigerians will mess up. Look at how state government, let me say some federal government and some state government are sponsoring some educators because their numbers are few. Our people are not educated now. Look at how Nigerians mess us up there. So I think this government is well educated by sincere scholars. They will be spending more on educating our citizens on Hajj, and if they are well educated, they will represent Nigeria well. They always give us bad names. Some will go on Hajj, they will turn themselves to beggars, they will be acting like cripples, they will be acting like people living with disabilities, begging around. They will be fighting on top biscuit, fighting on top labido, fighting when they are asked to come and collect food. So we need sincere education. Government needs to spend on people who educate people when they go there, so that they will not paint our country black. So it's necessary, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan.